What's up, everybody?
Episode 41.
Episode
Geoff and Kira, back again.
41. Geoff and Kira.
It's nice to not have to wear a mask.
I know, right?
I forget sometimes when I walk out the door and I'm like, oh shit, mask.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice to actually have an interaction with someone like close and you're not like 6 feet roll.
Yeah.
Thing, you know, like I was on a plane the other day and that was a very fascinating thing.
What was
well,
it like
the airplane was packed.
Yep.
I mean, packed.
Yeah.
I had Bubba and his girlfriend of 20-nothing years old sitting next to me, coughing all over the place. And I'm like, okay, if I don't have COVID before, do now. Because this is a disaster.
They all have masks on.
I mean, the flight attendants had to go around and repeatedly tell people, lift it over the nose.
Are you serious?
People like the...
Wow.
I'm like, oh my God.
Because some people will let it fall a little bit.
They just don't want it around their nose.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get it. It's a 4-hour flight, 5-hour flight. But at the same time, I mean, it's a requirement. People
right.
Getting, it's US Air, I think?
Mm-hmm.
Or Delta that's like, if you wear a mask, if you don't wear one, you get kicked off. Like, banned for life.
Mm-hmm. I heard about that. And they're now, because the baseball players haven't been wearing masks.
Yeah, so
they just haven't been wearing masks like they're supposed to. I mean, you and I technically could be wearing masks right now.
But who wants to watch us wearing masks? I'm like, why?
It's true.
Obnoxious. So hi everyone, we're back.
We're back. Episode 41.
Yes. The changing of the tides.
Geoff and Kira live. Launch radio. Geoff and Kira live. Good times.
Geoff, you seem so down today.
It's gosh. I mean, it's one of those days.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are you contemplative today?
Am I contemplative? Contemplative. Am I, what's the word? It wouldn't be contemplative. It would be, is contemplative a word?
Yeah.
It would be like like thoughtful. Like I'm caught up in thought today.
Yeah. You're contemplative.
Contemplative. That's probably what it would be.
I think that's a word.
No, I'm not really down. I'm
It's hard. I mean, there's a lot going on. Every day there's something new, and I don't know.
Every day.
You're very big into Twitter, and you're like, I'll send Geoff like a news article about something, and he'll be like, oh yeah, I already tweeted that like an hour ago. I'm like, but it only came out an hour, and like he'll just get it right away. And for me, and I think a lot of people are like this. You go through periods where like I'm gonna focus on, okay, the news, get the news, and then a week of like, get away from me.
Yeah.
I can't, because the brain it's just too much. And I know that my brain patterns are changing because of it. Because of
all of this.
I can tell.
Wow.
Like the negativity, the minute you turn on CNN today, on their front page is like, we're all doomed. Every single day on CNN is doomed.
Yeah.
We're doom and gloom. And it's just like,
Well, the problem is it puts this, especially when there's something like a pandemic, it puts society in this place of you can never be too optimistic or pessimistic. Because if you try to be optimistic during pessimistic times, you'll seem like you're being unrealistic.
Right.
Get people worked up because you're being optimistic.
Like, who the hell are you?
Correct. Exactly. Yeah. If you're pessimistic and negative, people are like, you're always so negative about things. Why are you being so negative? So it creates this place...
I feel like the pessimistic people are actually having their heyday right now.
They are.
Like, this is like I can finally push out all my negativity and the world's going to end tomorrow type of thing.
100%. 100%. They are, it's the best way to put it. I feel like they're in a place with everything that's just been happening that it kind of gives people some type of a drive towards it. Like if you put, if you put optimistic things, if you talk optimistically, there's a lot of people who do not like that.
Oh no, because their brain patterns have changed. They are absorbing so much negativity, but that's all their brain then learns. And our brain already goes negative anyways.
Do you think people want to hear the negative? They're not going to say that they do, but do you think there's something about that where it's more
I don't think
interesting?
it's a like or a dislike. I think it's you're fueling your fear cloud in your brain. And you keep feeding it, and it becomes reality, and you don't know any different. That's the problem.
So fear becomes comfortable.
And that's all you know.
Right.
I fear the unknown. I fear the virus. I fear Trump. I fear Biden. Everyone's fearing everything.
Right.
So that's the basis. The more you feed into that, the more you read. Everything's fear-based. And the U.S. is known to be a fear-based country.
Yeah.
A lot of countries are not like here.
Yeah.
We're very like, oh,
yeah.
Who are you?
Mm-hmm.
Masks, they're scary, and I don't want to wear them, and I may breathe in my own carbon dioxide or whatever. It's lots of fear, and you keep feeding that in your brain. You just live it. That became that. It's like a mirage.
Mm-hmm.
It's all you see, and you don't know anything different.
But a lot of people are going to correct. And the thing is, but if you tell people that they become comfortable in fear, people will say, "Fear's not comfortable. I'm not comfortable in fear."
No, of course.
Your natural reaction, if you say somebody's comfortable, that's how it is, they're going to be like, "Fear is not a comfortable thing."
They'll say, "I hate this," but technically, they're actually getting very comfortable sitting in
the fear.
Because the other side is way too optimistic and way too scary. So actually the scary becomes
the non-scary.
The non-scary.
That's right.
And the things that you're like, oh, this is super positive. It's like, whoa.
That becomes the fear.
That becomes the fear.
That's right. So it's like the more you know.
We're so smart.
We're so smart. That's like a gift. That can be like a gift.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's really interesting with the.
It's all about control. We talk about it a lot on the show, and it's perceptions of things and the things you allow yourself to see. The things that you allow society to place on you.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about controlling yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to see negative news, there's a really good way to fix that.
Yeah.
You just don't read it.
Right.
And if all news is fake and and you're all complaining all the time, good action, don't read any of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's taking the actions of what you need to do in order to keep your brain healthy and balanced. We're all in this like super skewed fear, and now we're getting in that like comfy zone of fear.
Yeah.
What's next?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, vaccine.
And so I think that, and then the next thing, it becomes there becomes different things to fear, whether it's then it becomes vaccine, or everybody goes from the virus and then fearing vaccine. There's always a different. Did you notice that? Like if there's not coronavirus around, it's something else. There's always a different vessel. So we move from one.
Oh, of course, Black Lives Matter. It'll be interesting. Then it'll be the now.
Yeah.
We're getting a taste of that with the mail-in ballots.
Right.
It's fear.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be screwed up somehow.
Okay, so explain that one to me, because
frankly,
the mail-in ballots, I don't understand anything about what people are debating, because it's just I don't understand, like, mail-in ballots. Okay, like those work. People are worried because it's going to be rigged.
Right.
Is that the worry?
But the problem is, elections are all rigged.
It's going to be rigged anyway.
Every side does something.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, the polling place is broken.
Mm-hmm.
Or Democrats are loading up African Americans onto a bus to get them to polling places,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, that's fair because maybe they can't get there. But, mail-in ballot makes it even more fair because it's harder to rig. So that's the problem.
Wait, mail-in ballot makes it harder to rig.
Correct.
Okay.
Because it's actually like,
you would think everybody would want that.
I know. But
so that doesn't make sense.
People that want to sway an election toward their favor fear ballots. Because it's very hard to rig something like that. Because it's not a machine. You're literally putting it on a ballot and you give it to your post-up man. Now, whoever's counting them could screw it up, but there's government officials overlooking people that are counting that stuff. Polling places and poor people can't get to there. Everyone gets the mail. That's the problem. So Republicans are fear because now everyone's going to get a ballot.
Oh, so they think that okay.
That's the problem.
Oh, that's where it's rooted.
Yes. We don't want.
So more communities they think will vote Republican are going to get
correct
them, and that
the poor
it lowers their
community.
chances.
Correct. Right. It's a fascinating thing.
Why don't people say that outright?
Because
nobody talks about it.
Well, of course not, because it's cheating. It's like saying I cheated on my final, but you're not gonna say that out loud. Like, hey, teacher, cheated on my final. You'd get punished for it.
But not that. Why don't they say what you said about it's because those communities aren't going to vote for them, or they think that?
Because it makes them seem like they're racist.
Well, why don't the Democrats say that? I don't even hear that. Not as much.
Not as much. That's because Democrats are a little weak when it comes to rhetoric. They could attack really hard, but they don't. It's the Republicans that are always like, rah, really, really good with their rhetoric. Democrats are more like even keel. Let's all just get along, whereas they could absolutely attack the Republicans for sure.
Yeah, totally. All right, we've got some guests in there. We'll get to your questions soon, guys. But we have some things to discuss today.
We do.
We sure do. We have an announcement, which is, I guess, should we do the announcement first?
Yeah, we'll do the announcement first.
I'm going to give Kira
the floor.
Let Kira have the floor with this announcement. Yes. So, big announcement. Ready?
And we can all take, and then we'll take questions after. About it. But so I moved to Los Angeles 15 years ago, and it's been an amazing ride. And I felt the energy kind of shift here about a year ago and was like, I moved here on a whim of just like, hey, I'm 22. That's what you do. You move to LA, and I didn't think I'd stay. I didn't know what would transpire. I just was like, I want to go for a new opportunity. So I moved here, did very well, really enjoyed it. I've met such amazing people. And, I really feel the energy is shifting now for me personally, as it pertains to like a new chapter in a new book of life. And so I'll be moving like this coming week into the following week to Georgia, to Atlanta.
Kira's moving, everybody.
So I'm gonna be a Georgia peach for a little bit.
She's going to Atlanta.
Yes.
Which is a lovely town. We will still continue.
Yes.
We will do remotes because.
Oh, I thought you were flying out every week.
Well, I was thinking about that, but then I was like, I got some things to do here too. So it's just easier in these times of everything remote anyway, that I can talk to my, sister remotely, brother and sister. We want it to continue. I might also bring in some different guest hosts in person and kind of vary it some too, so that we have some in-person ones. But that, we'll keep you posted on. But we definitely are going to still be doing these remote in a few weeks with Kira when she gets settled in Atlanta. So.
Yes, so I will be a Georgia peach, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, we'll be able to digitally.
Yeah, I mean it's 2020, man. Like who has this anyways?
Right.
Nobody. I mean, it's like weird for people to watch it, I'm sure.
In 2020, everybody's separate anyway on things.
Right, and then go into 2021, that's not going to change much,
Not going to change much.
So everyone's working remote. So yes, we will. The Geoff and Kira show will continue. Always continue. We will just now be digital. Are you clapping for me that I'm moving?
I'm giving Kira a round of applause. She's going to Atlanta, and we're going to continue no matter what. And I'm giving the show a round of applause because we love having fun and talking to you guys.
Yes.
We've got YouTube people in here now. So yeah, I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you'll love it there. My cousin's there.
Oh,
I
nice.
have relatives there.
I didn't know that.
I know Atlanta quite well. I was there last year for the Super Bowl.
Was it in Atlanta last year?
Uh-huh.
I don't even know.
A year ago, February, I was there.
Atlanta's cool. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, and
Should be good.
We'll keep it going. So congrats to Kira, everybody. K for Kira. And we will continue. We will keep it going. Okay. We've got lots of different people saying things. Anyway, so I think today we can just, I feel like we should, as we transition into doing things more, digitally, remotely, I thought we could kind of just talk about, for a few minutes, we can kind of vary topics a little bit, just chat about what's coming, where things are going in the world. We've been talking about COVID and stuff a lot. I watched our January podcast, by the way, where it was early on. I watched that the other night. It was fascinating watching us talk about it and have no idea.
What's 2020 look like?
We were like masks. We were like, we're like, can you imagine wearing like a surgeon's mask around?
Oh my God.
We were like one of the first to speculate on it.
Yeah.
I ordered mine on January 25th.
Which was like an N95, which you can't buy anywhere, and it was like $60 on Amazon.
Yeah, I got it like on Amazon before anybody knew.
I was thinking funny because it came from China.
It came from China. Yeah.
And I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
January 25th, I was the first American to order a mask. Probably the first person in the country. But I'm crazy like that. But anyway, it was quite fascinating listening to us discuss that. And people are still, now you have people going and getting getting antibodies tested for it.
Like I got mine and I don't have the antibodies.
You don't.
And then you read all these articles about like, well, everyone's now asking like, what's your blood type? I'm like, I'm A positive. And I know just from being a human being that, and with A positive blood, that I get bit by mosquitoes more. Like growing up, I can't go anywhere without. I get bit here. We have mosquitoes in LA. I get mauled. So, and oh my God, Atlanta's gonna be fascinating. I'm just gonna like drench myself in bug spray.
Yeah.
But it's interesting now as this whole thing progresses. It was first like, whoa, what is this virus? Now we're into like your blood type.
So you did. So okay. So you.
So I did the antibody.
Did not have the IgG
Correct.
antibody when you did the test.
Correct.
Okay.
Which means I've never had COVID in order to receive the antibodies. But now every day there's new research of like, okay, well, people with A positive blood, if you get sick, you're going to get really sick. People with O won't be as sick. And I'm like, well, super. I mean, I can't change that. Like... What are your...
Well, first of all, I went in early May and did the antibody test, and they did on me 4 times, and I actually had the IgM antibody.
So that means you've been exposed, had it,
yes.
And then they say the antibodies only last for so long,
There's varying... So what IgM is when you get the illness, IgM comes first and it like fights it off. It's like the thing that fights it off.
Oh, right, okay.
But I was tested for COVID and I didn't have it. But I was negative for COVID. But I did have the IgM antibody, and that can mean a variety of things. But then eventually you get the IgG one long term. But you don't always necessarily get the IgG one either. You might just get the IgM.
Oh, I see.
But now CNN just released a thing today, and like other people, or it was yesterday, and other people talking about it, that you can apparently have antibodies in your system
and not
from having another virus at some point, or it could be genetics in your system of like I think it's like T cells or something. That's something that I'm not as educated on. But the bottom line is you can have pieces of it in your system. So what I wonder is, because I went last week to see if I then got IgG, which is what you tested for, and I did not have IgG.
Interesting.
Which is the long-term one.
Right.
Which is what they tested you for. I did not have that, and I never had IgG. I only had IgM. Which makes me wonder if, like, I just have whatever that piece of antibody is in my system.
Well, they're going to have to come up with another test to try and figure out then. It's funny. Back in March when it was first hit and it was like Wuhan virus at that point, I actually got into a little debate with a complete stranger online. And he's like, this means I don't care if I get sick because I genetically won't get sick because I have the gene. And I'm like, dude, really? And I got into like a massive argument with him in like a nice constructive way. But like, he's trying to tell me that he took a genetic test and it said that he is immune to COVID. And I'm like, oh, come on.
They're now discovering, I don't think it's necessarily genetic, like in your genetics. It's more just like, although it might be, it's an antibody that you just
Right.
naturally have.
So
now
then that's when I read about it. I was like, oh, maybe he was right.
Right. So you could be born with it technically. You could have had another similar coronavirus and gotten it, but I think I don't know because I never had coronavirus. Like I got the test once, unless I had it and didn't know.
Right.
But I did have that IgM, and I had it definitively because they did that test. They were doing it on hundreds of people, and everybody was negative. And they did that test on me 4 times.
And it came back positive each time?
It came back showing the antibody 3 out of 4 times.
So that means you were exposed to COVID, had it, never were asymptomatic, but
Correct.
You never developed the long-term immunity to it.
Never, right, correct. But that could be because I have that IgM antibody just naturally from some
I wonder if there's a way that they'll be able to test that.
Yes, there will be, for sure.
You think?
If they find out, if they can piece together what works on corona, which is like what this test is about. So I think it's very feasible because they were like, yeah, you have it. And they're like, we've had a couple other people that have that too. But I don't think it's anything. I think it's just like, antibodies and illness and such are a massive cracking the code and stuff. Yeah. And it could be just you have that one little one for this that works against it. Other people, when they get the disease, develop that same IgM.
Right.
You understand, to fight it off.
I see.
But then they would get an IgG to continue.
Right.
I'm not a doctor or an expert on this stuff. It's just like what I read on this. But I think it's certainly feasible. And from what this article and stuff seems like, is that like there's some antibodies that stay with you because you've had a different illness, and so that could be like what's going on, where like you always have that IgM.
And then I wonder how that works if it gets mutated, which every virus.
Then it could change. Then it could change. It could, like flu does, like a flu mutates. Like you could be this strain of that.
Do you get the flu vaccine?
No.
Yeah, neither do I.
In fact, I don't ever. This is good. I've never had. I can't remember ever having the flu. Have you had it?
Oh yeah, bad.
You have. I don't even like. Maybe
that's
when I was baby.
I wonder, what's your blood type?
Well, that's okay. Yeah. So we were going to talk about. So you're A
positive.
So I also got my blood type recently. What are your guys all blood types? I'm curious what you guys know about blood types on YouTube here.
Well, Geoff was telling me his mom is like RH or something, and I'm like, what the hell? I've never even heard of that.
If you're a viewer here and you know about this, let me know, because my mom is, and I looked this up, okay? Now I really did some research on this. So there's 8 types of blood, okay? And they are A positive, there's 8 types of blood. There's A positive, B positive, AB positive, and O positive. Those are the most common 4.
Right.
Okay, which is what, like, my dad's O positive, and a lot of people are one of those 4. And then on the other side, there's which are much more rare, is the negative blood types. And they are A negative, B negative, AB negative, and O negative. And those are, I think 15% is what they said of the public, of the world has the negative types.
Yeah. And they're the ones that have to give blood, like the Red Cross is pleading with them to constantly give blood because they're a universal donor.
Because they can give their blood to any of the positives.
Right. But they can't take any
from the positives.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
Right.
That's the problem. So they can give blood.
Very specific, yeah.
Now, correct. And so but what I found out, which is really interesting, is my dad is O positive, and which is a fairly common one. But my mom, I called them and I asked them, like, what is mom's blood type and stuff? And my parents are like, she's RH negative. Because when you're looking at the RH, it's either positive or negative, like we said. But I'm like, okay, well, there's a letter. There's like A, B, or O. And they're like, no, she's just RH negative. And I'm like, but it has to be positive or negative. It's positive or negative. And they're like, there's not a letter, or there's not, like, when she was pregnant with me and with my brother and then my sister, she had to go get like pregnancy shots or something. They have to give you a special, because what will happen is if a negative gets pregnant with a positive baby, the negative woman's body will actually try to kill the fetus, like try to.
That's insane.
Yeah, it'll actually try to kill this is studied, doctors
And
do
it's
it.
rare, right? So RH negative is like.
Well, hang on. So the 4 negatives are like 15%. So any negative, A negative, B negative, A negative, B negative, AB negative, or O negative, any of those, if a woman is one of those and gets pregnant with a positive baby, she always has to get these special shots because the risk of pregnancy, her body will try
I wonder what the shots are. What they do is if it's like
it's some type of a thing that does something to the cells or something.
Because it must be like, oh, this thing's invading.
Right.
So it destroys. It probably sends out signals to the cells to like destroy, basically. So you could have been destroyed.
If she didn't get the shot, yeah, I would have been destroyed in the womb. It happens.
That's crazy.
The negatives kill the positives, baby. Yeah, every time. But here's the even more.
I mean, that's if you think about it, negatives do destroy positive people. I mean, you can take that a whole step further.
But here's where it gets. You really could. Here's where it gets even more bizarre, though. So I was saying to my parents, but there's a letter. There's like a letter, like with the negative, you have to be O, A, B, A, or B. And my dad's like, I swear she's not. And so I was watching videos and stuff like looking this up, like last night and stuff, looking at it, and they were like the RH negative blood type. And I swear on this video, okay, I watched the video, I'll show it to you. They said they call the RH negative. That's not the 4. That's not O negative, B negative, A negative, right? It's none of those. It's the RH negative. That's literally the blood type. It's its own thing.
A little category.
Onto its own, yeah. And it said there's 45 people.
What?
On the earth that they know of.
Your mom is one of the 45?
I don't know.
Have you talked to your mom?
They don't want to talk about this stuff. It stresses them out. So they won't get in. They won't talk about it that much.
They don't want to talk about their blood type?
No, it just stresses them. It's just too much to handle. They'll probably watch this and be like, no, but they don't want to talk about it. I could talk about it for hours. My dad will get so stressed from me bringing this up that he'll like want to go climb a tree. But no, like it literally. So it said 45 people. It's the golden blood type. It has nothing to do with A negative, B negative, O negative.
They call it the golden blood type?
That's what it said in this video, yeah. And so I didn't know all those 8 blood types, by the way, you can break them down really specifically. The breakdown can go further and further and further. And there's all sorts of varieties. Those are just like the main ones.
Oh, right.
Apparently, so everybody's gets very detailed as you break it down.
Right,
and stuff.
I see.
But the RH negative is one that's, I guess it has to do with, I don't know what the name is. I'm not educated enough on this, but things that are A and B mean it's like attached to your red chromosomes or something.
Okay.
That's how it attaches. And like the RH negative one doesn't have A, B.
So it's an alien blood? That's what we're talking about here? Your mom's an alien.
I don't know what the heck that's all about.
I'm surprised you haven't I'm learning so much right now. I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm learning like a ton of stuff about blood right now, which I find it incredibly fascinating.
But I was literally like...
How is there 45 people in the world that only have this?
That specific RH negative. The other negatives, there's 15%.
Right.
Which is...
It's the RH that's causing it to be so rare.
All of those 4 are RH negative. But the RH negative itself is of its own blood type. It doesn't have a letter.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying.
So you're RH negative or you're RH positive.
Right.
Okay? She's a blood type where there's no letter. So you're A positive. I myself, I'm B negative. So I'm one of those strange people. But so B negative, A positive, RH negative.
Like, doesn't even have a letter that's attached to it.
Right. Like I say, what's your blood type here? And you say RH negative. And I'm like, there's a letter. And my mom's like, no, my blood type is RH negative. That's the blood type. It's not A, not B, it's just RH negative.
I wonder where your brother and sister are then.
I don't know. I asked them.
And I wonder if she's at higher risk for things like getting sick and... So they don't want to know this stuff.
My parents don't get into that stuff. They don't... I don't know. It doesn't really... they get stressed out.
You would think that that there's if there's 45 people that have this special golden blood, does that mean you're immune to everything, or does that mean you're susceptible to everything? You know what I mean? It could mean amazing things, or it could mean that you could get sick with COVID the minute you enter a room.
Does anybody know what that means? What is RH negative blood? We can ask negative blood.
I love how they call it the golden blood. I mean,
that's what they said in this video. So they said it's like, I mean, that's what they're saying in this video. But I couldn't believe it when it said like it said 45 people have just straight up RH negative. Like, what does that mean? Like, I don't think people really know. Like, I don't think they really know what all that is.
So it's alien. I'm not calling your mom an alien. However, I mean, I have a hard time understanding that only 45 people. I mean, I believe you. It's just like maybe that's not of a human form.
Well, here's what they don't know. They don't know how. This is a fascinating discussion, by the way. They don't know. It really is. They don't know or exactly where it came from because it appeared in Europe in the 1500s, and there's a specific region between Spain and France, and it's the Basque region.
Okay.
And they find this one region, the Basque people. Have you heard of that? The Basque people.
I've heard of
Spain and France. They have their population. They're the one population that it's 35% in the Basque.
How weird.
In the Basque people. And they don't know why these Basque people have this 35% so much. So there's this speculation, like with something, a lot of scientists, they just say it's like a mutation, which is very possible, like the negative and positive. There's just
well, if that's the case, but why is it in one specific area so predominantly?
I think that part's weird, and I think
is your family from a region around there?
My family's all from England and Sweden and France. And
how far back are you able to go on your tree? Hey, by the way, I don't know if we've ever talked about this. When I did my ancestry tree,
mm-hmm.
there's someone that's related. We're related somehow.
We're cousins. We really are cousins, it turns out.
We really are
actually
brother and
sister. We're actually cousins. We're both.
We're like six away or something, 6 degrees away or something. Yeah. It's so bizarre.
So we found out in our family trees that Kira has Pilkingtons.
I do.
In her family. Going back.
Yeah, not that far.
Europe. Not that far. We're like 4th cousins.
Yeah.
5th cousins, something like that.
That's why
But we didn't.
Peas in a pod.
But we didn't know that.
Right.
Here's how weird the universe is. I love talking to the YouTube people because they get into this. Like Lee Miller, Coffee Time Jose, Bach Huden, funny name. They know about this stuff. So the universe, Kira and I didn't know that we were related, and we decided to do this podcast. Like, what does the universe say that we didn't know? And that we were related and we decided to do this. Like, that's just like...
Yeah, and not for us to randomly do our trees and then randomly that we're somehow related.
Yeah.
By, like, cousin-wise.
It's just
a bizarre thing.
Crazy. I mean, we knew brother and sister, but just, like, cousins, it's crazy. So, we thought we needed to let you guys know that. And then the whole blood thing, it's a mystery. I mean...
That's a very interesting... I mean, I'm surprised, though, that your mom or your family doesn't want to find out more. So then health-wise, she knows, like, if she has to go to the hospital one day and they're like, okay, what's your blood type?
Oh, it's troublesome. It's crazy. Like, it's troublesome. Because she doesn't know.
Like, does that mean certain medication? You know what I mean? Like, it could open a whole slew of things that, like, she would.
And why are my parents denying talking about it? Like, you guys know you're aliens. Like, you aren't.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, don't. Like, why are you hiding it from me? Why does it stress you out so much?
You have alien blood.
Did the UFO come down and you're not telling me this? Like, what? Like, why won't you talk to me about it?
Fun fact and a side note: I love that, like, during this crazy time of like everyone's swarming with COVID and blood types and stuff, that the defense department just kind of continues pushing out, saying like, yes, UFOs are real, and here's the evidence.
Yeah,
and
so that's the
it's
latest.
Not really like a big deal about it.
Like what?
But it's like no, it's the government officially saying yes, there's aliens, and yes, there's UFOs, and there doesn't seem to be anyone that's like.
I think we've seen it all. That if the aliens showed up now, we'd all just be like, great, let's bring it on.
I wonder what they would want with us, though. They want your mom. They want her her blood type. I mean, It's probably part of their family, really.
He says you guys are Kryptonians. What does that mean? What's a Kryptonian? What is a crypt? I don't know what that means. Who's it? Or coffee time. You can fill us in on that. So anyway, she's A positive blood. I'm B negative blood. I don't know where if my dad's O positive, my mom is this strange, I don't know what, RH negative blood is my mom. How do I get B negative from my mom's RH negative?
We need like a chemist or
any chemist in the house.
Wait, who handles blood?
Like a blood doctor.
Yeah, that's it. That's what they call themselves, a blood doctor.
The blood doctor. It's a phlembologist, I think. A phlembologist, for sure.
A phlembologist?
Yeah.
That is not a word.
I swear it is. What is the name of a blood doctor? It's a phlembologist.
A phlembologist?
Yeah. Does anybody know? Let's see.
Sounds made up.
So, yeah, my mom is RH negative.
As Geoff talks to all his fans.
I'm B negative. Dad is O plus. Kira.
Oh, I'm easy. I'm just
A plus.
Yeah, A plus plus.
Apparently, its own blood type. We're just having fun with this thing. So anyway, I remember the first episode. We were just like, we were sitting right there, and we were just like, now it's all like, we're just.
You know what? And then the table fell apart. Like the whole studio was falling apart.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that today. Actually, it's like, these were good times.
It's November 2018.
Was it?
Yeah. Except that was our first episode. Almost 2 years. So a year and 9 months.
And we've gotten through pandemic.
We've survived.
Knock on wood.
Survived it all. Yeah, knock on wood before the aliens come. So the blood type discussion.
That's really fascinating, actually. Oh, phlebotomist? Is that the word?
Phlembologist. Yeah, I was seeing if somebody could look that up to see, but I don't know. I don't know what that really means.
I mean, that'd be cool if that meant like you were of a different form that humans can't figure out. Haven't quite.
So the Basque people, they've found that, but they're just like another, it's like their home country,
Right.
like everybody.
Right.
But they were speculating that they didn't know, they don't know what it. I mean, I don't get really too into. I try not to get too into the like conspiracy theories of things, because people talk about it and stuff. But there's all sorts of. I mean, science says it's a mutation of some type, but I think that the location of all those Basque people having that strange, and I think that it being a small part of the population is very strange. Like, did somebody try to in 1500s Europe when it came back? Because it hasn't always been here either. That's the other thing. It started in like the 1500s in Europe, apparently. Or did science advance where they knew what it was then? That's another question. I don't know. But
what's the conspiracy theories?
That everything that
you can imagine.
You're saying basically like aliens, but there's other.
Maybe that's what coffee. The crypto.
What are Kryptonians? I don't know. Somebody said that.
From Krypton? Isn't that Superman?
Superman, but that's just speculating. But there's been speculation that like somebody like messed with the genetics at some point
in the 1500s.
They wouldn't have known that much.
They didn't even know
anything.
They didn't even know what bacteria germs were. I mean, that wasn't even like a.
How were they testing blood types back then?
They weren't.
They were.
Yeah, but how would they even like?
I don't know. They have it traced back where people were.
I always said Geoff was probably an alien, and I think it was confirmed. I think we can officially confirm on episode 41 that Geoff comes from alien blood.
I come from an alien.
And it's no offense to your mom, sorry, Miss Pilkington, but like, I mean, frankly. Wait, does that mean I have it too if we're related?
Yes, Kira has it too. Kira's an alien. You don't get off the hook that easily. Hematology is the study of blood. Hematology. And health and disease.
Hematologist is blood.
Thank you, Coffee Time, Jose.
God, we're so dumb.
So
where did phlebotomist come from?
There's something about an imphlebotomist. I was trying to.
Oh wait, phlebotomist is dead people, isn't it? Don't they phlebotomy? Isn't that dead?
I don't know. Oh, there we go. We're back on. Oh yeah, it's like
Phlebotomy was
like the
dead.
Undertaker.
The Undertaker, right? Phlebotomist goes and like gets all your.
It starts with an E. Ephthalmologist or something.
Ophthalmologist?
Ephthalmologist. I don't know. Hang on. I'm Googling this to find out right now. Ephthalmologist.
It's
blood.
phlebotomy.
Phlebologist.
Is a medical specialist in the diagnosis and treatment of disorders of what?
Yes. I guess that's not it. Phlebologist? Yeah, blood. Okay, professionals who draw blood. It's a phlembotos. It's a phlegm.
It's a.
I'll tell you what it is. Hang on. No, it's a phlebotomist. A phlebotomist are professionals who draw blood from patients for labs. Bam.
I don't know if that's how you say it though.
See, you say phlebotomist.
It's a phlebotomist.
Phlebotomist.
What you were saying was like.
I said
no.
I said a phlebotomist. Something like that. A phlebotomist.
It's not a phlebotomist.
I thought there was an E at the beginning of it.
It's just a phlebotomist.
What are we gonna do?
I love that you're adding consonants and vowels in there and just jamming it to make it like a 20-syllable word.
Yeah. I mean it's anyway. So that's that. So nurses. They just take your blood. Yeah, those are the people that draw blood. We figured it out. Yeah, I tried Coffee Time Jose, you're right. Anyway, that's an interesting discussion. I feel like this was a good talk today. We did the blood episode. We, until we go remote, which will be in a few weeks.
It'll be in a few weeks once I get situated. And I have 2 cats and 2 dogs, so I'm moving my zoo out. With me in my tiny little coupe car, so this will be really fascinating. And then once I get settled, we will be going remote and picking it up. And it's interesting to me that every day there's a new topic that you could literally talk. I mean, I feel like 2020 is moving so fast, and yet nothing, our individual lives really, in the grand scheme of things, it's too hard to keep up. So of course we'll continue our show because there's so much more to delve into. You can imagine in 2 or 3 weeks what's going to transpire. I mean, the debates are supposed to happen in a month and a half, so
for sure. Welcome. Oh, we've got somebody in here. It's their first day on Periscope. Hi, Oliver Street. Okay, somebody Oliver or something. Okay. Anyway, yes. So we will be remote. Anybody who's in here now, I'm going to do some Mandela Effect videos soon. I know I haven't been doing them. I only did one during times of COVID, but they are coming back. We will be back to the Mandela Effect. I need to make that announcement on YouTube, and I'm telling you guys. Thank you for tuning in, though, you all, talking to us about blood. Kira and I are going to continue. We're going to...
Distance knows no boundaries.
Distance...
Or wait, is that how it goes?
Distance is we're all part of the
Love
same...
Love knows no boundaries?
Yeah. Is it love knows no boundaries? I think so. My cousin, sister, it will continue. Might get some guest hosts at some point, but keep you posted on that. And that's what we got.
Awesome. Episode 41, Geoff.
Yeah. Cheers. We're not even supposed to
I know.
But we're doing it.
I'm gonna
anyway,
miss my bro from a different Mr. Bro from a different Mr.
Sister from a different Mr. Mother
from a different.
Good times. Episode 41. We'll see you guys on the remote screen and have fun in Atlanta.
Thank you. I will.
Have fun here in LA. Here at Launch Radio at Geoff and Kira Live, we are the future, and the future is Launch Radio.
Geoff and
Kira Live. See you soon.
Bye.
Later.